let's get you a quick US market check. The S&P 500 closed higher after briefly touching 6-month low on Monday. The S&P 500 clawed back earlier losses overnight to end the session higher as traders nervously looked ahead to President Donald Trump's tariff plans. The broad market index added about 0.5% at close. In fact, at one point, it fell as much as 1.6% and traded 10% below its record. The Nasdaq Composite fell 0.14% and the Dow Jones Industrial Average advanced over 400 points or 1%. Now, tech giant Nvidia fell more than 1%, while Tesla also dropped more than 1%, in fact almost 2%. The tech stocks have struggled to recapture their meteoric rise from last year. They were spurred by rising AI sentiment. Now, the broad market S&P 500 is nearly 9% below its record set in February. It also hit its lowest level since September on Monday. The tech-heavy Nasdaq also reached levels not seen since September and is 14% below its all-time high set in December. Now, Monday marks the final day of what has been a tumultuous month and a quarter for Wall Street. The S&P 500 dipped into correction territory in March after hitting a record high in February. The S&P 500 fell 5.8% for the month, posting its biggest monthly slide since December 2022. And the Nasdaq lost 8% in March, while the Dow has fallen 4.2%. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite also posted their worst quarterly performance since 2022 as uncertainty around the Trump administration's economic agenda roiled U.S. equity markets in the first quarter of calendar year 2025. Now remember, all of this is happening as Trump has on Sunday said that his plan for reciprocal tariffs was expected to be unveiled on Wednesday. And it will target all countries, rejecting the notion that the upcoming levies will be narrower and more targeted. In fact, the Wall Street Journal has reported earlier that President had in recent days pushed his advisors to get more aggressive when it comes to tariffs. Now, that is as far as the US markets are concerned. What are you picking up on the crude front, Shreyansi?
If you take a look at oil, you do have oil prices climbing 2% to those 5-week highs. That is something that we've seen come in as far as crude is concerned. You do have Russia as well as Iran supply worries backing that at this point. So climbing about 2% to a 5-week high is where oil was at. And when you take a look at what is happening, you do have worries about supplies that could be declining if US President Donald Trump is going to be following through on the threats that he's talked about when it comes to tariffs on Russia as well as possibly attack Iran. So that is also something that we're looking at by the way of factors. When you take a look at Brent crude, you're looking at an uptick of 1.5%. They're about $74 a barrel is the level that you're looking at for Brent. And when you take a look at US WTI as well, 3% uptick is what you have at hand for US WTI. So $71 a barrel is the kind of level that WTI managed to notch. Now, that was the highest close for Brent also since February 24th and the highest close for WTI since February 20th. So good moves coming in as far as oil prices are concerned. In fact, analysts have also said that when Brent's premium over WTI falls below $4 a barrel, it does not also make much economic sense for energy firms to be sending ships across the ocean to pick up US crude. So that is also a key factor to watch out for. But speaking of key factors, let's take a look at gold prices, because there is where you're seeing safe haven demand really working its magic, because $3,100 per ounce is the kind of level that you have in rally, marking one of the most significant upswings, in fact, that we've seen in the precious metals history. So you do have the psychological levels swept aside by a cocktail of factors, including worries about fallout from impending US tariffs. That's been something that's been talked about, aside from safe haven demand as well. So $3,000 thereabout is the kind of level that you have there. As you can see on your screens as well, it's set to log its biggest quarterly rise since September 1986. It's seen quite the move coming on a year-to-date basis, 18% uptick. For 2024, 27% uptick coming in. 19 all-time highs have been notched thus far this year. So unprecedented rise is something that we're seeing as far as gold is concerned.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.